So for my third vlog, I'm going to be doing it on Module 10, Race Relations and Racial Inequalities. I'm going to be focusing on the first two questions. The first question states, according to home ownership, race and wealth, what is the difference between income and wealth? Shapiro argues that wealth would provide a more telling explanation for racial inequality. Why is that? Based on the course material for this week, please give 3 reasons for the widening racial wealth gap. So page 53 in the book states that income represents flow of resources earned in a time period and includes earnings from work or its substitutes. Wealth is the total value of a family's financial resources minus all debts. The reason for Shapiro's argument that wealth would provide a more telling explanation for racial inequality, because he claims wealth is seen as a special kind of money and offers a new perspective or dimension that launches social mobility, creates opportunities and status, or passes along advantages to one's children. Page 58 states that an examination of wealth allows an analytic window to the contemporary relevance of the historical legacy of African Americans. Indeed, a wealth lens will broaden our understanding of the relationship between historical and contemporary considerations for class as well as race. 3 reasons for the widening racial wealth gap is the prime loans that are given to blacks, and then redlining and the unemployment of African Americans compared to white individuals. The second question states, what is redlining? When was this practice created and ended? By who? How did redlining contribute to segregation in the United States? How does the legacy of redlining continue to affect lives of black families? And how is redlining linked to racial inequality? So redlining is a map that was created in 1934 by the government, specifically federal housing agencies, that color-coded the good areas as green and the bad areas as red. If you lived in the green areas, it was easy to get a loan, but if you lived in the red areas that were considered bad, you didn't receive any loans at all. This contributed to segregation in the U.S. because the red areas that were outlined were homes of those that were African American or some kind of minority. It prevented African Americans and minorities to receive a loan, and those families could not move into the green areas because of racial policies that were implemented in the green areas, pretty much stating that the green homes were to be occupied by no other race than Caucasians. Since homes were segregated, the schools were as well. Redlining was put to an end in 1977, although discrimination still exists. So I guess I kind of wonder how that discrimination is still existing. When redlining was lifted, the areas considered green had higher property values and they accumulated wealth, while the areas considered red did not accumulate wealth. They had lower property values and therefore could not move up and were stuck in poverty. Properties in the areas considered red have schools that aren't getting greatly funded than the schools in areas considered green, which are greatly funded because of the property taxes. So that is it for this vlog.